everybody, welcome back to the Beach Bum Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all found me again today. My channel is all about cozy mysteries and romance books. And today I'm doing my quarter one SAS update progress. So last week I did my 24 series and now I'm showing you the dirt on the SAS. Let's just go. Let's just see how it is. I'm going to be very brief in the synopsis of these, just kind of, we've talked about them before. So just, I'm going to try to be very brief and tell you where I am, how many more I have to go, that sort of thing. And let's just see how it's going. In 3, 2, 1, go. Before we hop in, don't forget to hit the subscription, notification bell, the like button. The like button really helps us out in the algorithm. The notification lets you know when we put out new videos so you don't miss your favorite content from anybody, or your favorite creators, either way. And the subscription keeps my channel growing. Can't thank you enough for that. I am having the time of my life. I thank you. I can't put it into words how much I appreciate this community. And let's see. Support is free. So it costs nothing to hit any of those 3 buttons for you. Helps us out tremendously. And let's go. The first series is quite possibly one of my favorites. I need to do an updated favorites list, but the idea of doing that just is so daunting because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I mean books. I don't want to hurt any books' feelings. I'm not like talking about people, just the characters. I don't want to hurt the books. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Okay, that's showing my focus, Tiffany. You're showing them your weirdness. Okay. The first series is the Sophie Kimball series. It is becoming one of my favorites. This features Sophie Kimball. I know, shocking. And she moves from Minnesota to Sun City West to be a accountant for this gentleman who was a detective at the Minnesota Police Department. And then when he retires, he's opening up this private investigation firm in Sun City. Well, right outside Sun City. And so she moves there. Her mother lives in Sun City West, the retirement community, and her mother and her friends make this series. They are a hoot. There's always something going on. There's always shenanigans, and I am there for all of it. So this year I read number 10, Grilled for Murder, and I only have 2 more to go to be caught up. I am so happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want the series to continue for a long time, so I'm always excited to see more, but I love when I get caught up. I'm so close. Number 2 is the Bake Shop Mystery by Ellie Alexander. This is a fantastic series. It features Jules, and at the beginning of the series, Jules was working on a cruise ship with her husband, Carlos, and she just decides because of things going on within their relationship that she needs a break from the cruise or from working on the cruise ship and a break from her marriage to kind of figure things out. So she goes back to her hometown of Ashland, Oregon, and she's working at her family's bake shop called Tort. And this series is just one of the series that, like, if somebody's new to cozies, they should start here. It's just so everything you want in a cozy. And Ellie Alexander has a way of making you, I've said this before, care about every side character. You're like, I need an update. I need to get back to Ashland to see what Andy's doing. And I need to know what even Richard's up to. I know, but I still want to know. I'm officially caught up as of right this second, but there are more on the horizon. So, of course, I put it on my SAS list. I did read one this year, A Smoking Bun. However, I know that there's more coming up. So I put it on my SAS list knowing I would only have 1 to be caught up right now. And then as soon as more come out, I could just read it. See what I did there? Mm-hmm. Number 3 is the Charlotte Gibson series. This is by Jasmine Webb. I don't remember what the first book is called, but I'm going to put it right here. So this series is interesting because this features Charlotte. And at the beginning of the first book, Charlotte was working in a jewelry store and somebody came to rob it. And in the process of the robbery, she ends up killing that guy. It was self-defense. He was coming at her. It was him, her sort of thing. And it turned out that guy was involved in the mob. And that doesn't bode well with mobsters when you kill one of their own. And so she gets, I think it's a finger. She gets like, it's a body part. She gets a body part in the mail. And she's like, message received. And she leaves Seattle, which is where they were. And she goes to Hawaii. She grew up in Hawaii. Her mother still lives in Hawaii. And she goes there to try to lay low, although she doesn't necessarily do the best job. But that is what the synopsis of this series as a whole. So I read the first one, loved it. I gave it 5 cups of coffee, fantastic. Read the second one, I gave it 5 cups of coffee, fantastic. I read this third one, and there were some things in it that I really didn't think were cozy. This is just a personal preference, so I don't think I'm going to read this series anymore. So I've kind of taken it off my SAS list. But if you like Hawaii cozies and you're okay with, cozies kind of changing a little bit, still check it out. Because like I said, the first 2 were fantastic. It's a fun series. It's hilarious. There's some fun seniors in it. It's just not for me. Next up, number 4 on my SAS list is the Classic Diner series. So this is by Jessica Beck. I read number 2, A Deadly Beef. This features Victoria and Greg, and do they call him Moose, or am I mixing that up with another series? So they have a diner called The Charming Moose, and this takes place in North Carolina. And I think the Moose name, the Charming Moose, though, comes from the grandfather's nickname is Moose. So it is a granddaughter-grandfather duo, and I love their relationship. I only have 5 more to go in this series. I really like it. The one thing I'll say about it is that it sometimes can be a little too cheesy. I know. I never thought I'd say that. But some of the dialogue is just really kind of, at points, a little like, oh, that's cheesy. But I still really, really enjoy it. And the diner is so much fun. And the duo together is fantastic. It's dynamite. Okay. I don't know why I did that. 5 is the Noodle Shop series by Vivian Chen. Another one that is fast becoming one of my favorites. I have not read any this year. Now that I am through Malice and that sort of stuff, I do have a little more opening in my flexibility. So this is self-inflicted flexibility, but I do have more, leeway. The issue is that a lot of my SAS list, like this one, is all ebook, which is fine. But it takes me longer to get through ebook than audiobook. So book 1 is called Death by Dumpling, and this features Lana Lee, and Lana Lee works for her family's noodle shop called Holy Noodles in an Asian district in Ohio, but I don't remember if I think it's Cincinnati. I have 4 books to go in this series. I feel like it's one that's got better and better. The last one that I read really focused on the Mahjong ladies. So the Mahjong ladies are like this older group of women that come in for tea every single day at Holy Noodles. And they're, to me, like the equivalent of like the Laundry Club ladies and the Campers and Criminals. They're like a older group of gossipy women. And I love them. And we got to know them more in the very last book that I just read, which was... I can't think of the name, but it was the one with the salon murder, and one of the Mahjong ladies was thought to be maybe involved in some way, and it was fantastic. 4 more to go to be caught up. I'm loving this series. Number 6 is the Campers and Criminals series I just mentioned. This is by Tanya Kappas, of course. I read number 32, Questions, Quarrels, and Quandary, which means I only have 5 more books today. I only have 5 books as of today to be caught up. So I might just read them with my eyeballs just to say I'm caught up with this series. I don't know that I'll ever have another chance to be like, hey, I'm caught up in the Campers and Criminals series. So if I read 5 real quick, binge them, I can say I am caught up in the Campers and Criminals series. Because otherwise I might say I'm 6 behind in just a month from now. Because I've been doing this series on audio. So let's talk about this series. It features... Mae West. I had a little moment there. I was like, I don't know who it features. I couldn't get it. Mae West. And at the beginning of the first book, her spouse is arrested for like a white collar crime. All that, he was a businessman. He was embezzling money from numerous people. All of his assets are seized except for this campground in Normal, Kentucky, where nothing's normal. And so May, that's kind of like the only thing she's got left. So she picks up, she goes to Kentucky, and she goes to this campground, and she's made it into this thriving business. It is fun. It is quirky. I love the Laundry Club ladies, which is just this group of gals that get together and do their thing. And they also work together to solve the mystery too. I just loved it. Love it. Love it. Next up is the Berry Basket series. I read number 3, Killed on Blueberry Hill. Oh my gosh, this was the best book in this series. This is a 5-book series, so I have 2 more to go. This series is set in Michigan. It features Marley, and Marley owns the Berry Basket, and that is everything berry. So berry potpourri, berry salsa, berry syrup, berry candles. You get the idea. Anything berry, she's got it for you. I really love this series. I love, like, it's close to like canning because there's a lot of like jellies and jams, and they're, you know, they're in a area that is a bunch of berry farms in Michigan. And so like it really revolves around that concept, and I absolutely love it. And this was by far the best in the series. Number 8 is the Retired Witches Cozy Mystery Series. This is by Jim and Joyce Levine. I read Looking for Mr. Good Witch. I did finish this. I gave it 3 cups of coffee. This is purely me. The number 2 definitely got too paranormal for me, so I don't think I'm going to continue the series. However, if you like paranormal, please check this out because it was hilarious. So it features a group of older witches that are trying to find replacements so they can retire, so that they can, this takes place in North Carolina. They really want to go put their feet up in the sand. They always say Boca Raton. So not only do they want to retire, they need to retire. So some of their powers and magic is fading. So when they're trying to do spells, they're not working, or they're something else happens that they didn't expect, which leads to all sorts of funny situations. I highly recommend it if you're a paranormal fan. Just for me, it was too paranormal because I'm not the biggest paranormal fan, but I still highly recommend for anyone who enjoys that. Number 9, one of my favorite series of all time, the Royal's Finest series. This is by Reese Bowen. I read number 11, On Her Majesty's Frightfully Secret Service. That is a mouthful. So I have 7 more to go in this series. This features Lady Georgie, and Lady Georgie, when the series starts, she is 34th in line to the throne. She is now 35th in line to the throne. And Lady Georgie is in a kind of a pickle because she is part of the royal family, although enough removed that she doesn't get a whole lot of perks, but still enough in the royal family that she's not common. Okay, so she didn't want to just be married off to a duke or someone else in royalty. So she didn't want to do that, but she also, as a woman, can't really work and support herself because that's not accepted in this time period. Her brother kind of inherited all of the family wealth because he was the man. And so Georgie is, struggling a little bit. She is so much fun. Her best friend is a lot of fun. I love her love interest. I absolutely love Darcy. She often is called on by Her Royal Majesty to do missions for her, like something goes missing, or or the queen wants her to spy on someone or something like that. And you know what you don't do? You don't say no to the queen. So Georgie, goes and does the bidding, and it is so fun. The narrator of this series to me is by far the best series I've ever listened to on audio. But it's very animated. I heard someone say recently, like, I don't like a lot of animation. I just want them to read it. This lady really gets into it. She does a different voice for everybody. Her her cadence changes, her tone. Like, I love that. I think she is fantastic. But if you don't like all that kind of like drama, she might not be the narrator for you. Number 10 is the Italian Chef series by Catherine Bruns. I only have one left. Book 1 is called Penny Dreadful. I'm putting up book 1 because I have not read book 3 yet. Again, it is only on ebook, so I will get to it very soon. This features Tessa and Tessa's spouse. She was widowed in the first book, and she kind of finds out in the very beginning of the first book that maybe his death wasn't what we thought it was, and maybe there was some foul play involved. And so between that and she's kind of wants to live life more fully and make sure that she gets to do all the things that she wants to do because, death is so unexpected, like with her spouse. So she opens up her dream of an Italian restaurant. So she purchases this building that's already like a restaurant sort of thing. And I only have one more to go. I can't wait to get to it. And it has the best name. It's like The Enemy Yunoki. 11 is Catherine Bruns. So let's slide right into that one. It is the maple syrup series. I loved book 1. Book 1 was one of my favorites of last year, A Doom Full of Sugar. So I still need to read book number 2. I had it checked out and then I didn't get to it because of my Malice TBR. This takes place in Sugar Ridge, Vermont, and Lila works for her family's maple syrup farm. And she goes back in the first book because her father was murdered. And so, it's pretty heavy, as you can, gather from the fact that the investigation is for her father. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I did think at first she was really like aggressive with people, but thinking about it, I think it's because the murder was so close to her and she couldn't, separate that out. It wasn't a friend. It wasn't a great aunt. It wasn't, somebody very, very close to her. And so I think that's what it was. I did like her as the book went on. I love her love interest, so I can't wait to get back to number 2. Number 12 is the Deep Dish Pizza series. This is by Mindy Quigley. I just saw Mindy Quigley at Malice, and she is always a hoot. I always enjoy running into her because she's super funny. This series, I read number 3 in, so I am officially caught up. Yes. Public Anchovy number 1 is number 3. This features Delilah, and Delilah owns a gourmet pizza shop in Geneva Bay, Wisconsin. Cold weather. I love cold weather places for cozies. Love, love, love it. It's the only way I want to experience my weather is in a book. So, Geneva Bay is this little tourist town, which is one of my buzzwords because tourist towns mean lots of festivals, lots of events, stuff like that bring in the tourists, which is my number 1 thing for cozies. I absolutely love that. So not only does it have that history, but Geneva Bay has a long history of like a mobster's hideaway that just adds a really fun bonus to the series. The detective is actually, I can't think of his first name. But he is the grandson of Al Capone. Now, as a detective, he doesn't necessarily always want to, claim that or brag about it, but it's still really cool. Next up, number 13 is the Beacon Bake Shop. I read number 5, Murder at the Blarney Bash, and I am officially caught up. This is by Darcy Hannah. It features Lindsay, and Lindsay owns a bake shop in a lighthouse in Michigan. Another great place for a cozy. She has a Newfoundland dog named Welly. I love that because most series have animals, as we know, most cozies. But this one, they're normally like small animals. And this is just this big old dog and floppy and sloppy and saliva. And I just love him to death. I love Welly so much. This series is a lot of fun. I always try to stay caught up with it. It's like an average good series. It's not one of my favorites, but it's usually revolved around holidays. And so I can't wait always to see what the next one's going to be. Next up is the Catering Hall series. This is by Maria Dorico, who is Ellen Byron. And I love her so much. I just saw her at Malice. She is always smiling. She is always sweet. She's always funny. She just is full of life. I absolutely love Ellen Byron. This series, I've read her Cajun Country series. I finished it. I really enjoyed it. What is the other series that I read by her? Oh, the New Orleans country cookbook series, not country, vintage cookbook series. I enjoy that one. I think this one though is probably becoming one of my favorite series by her, although I'm so excited for her new series. So this is, again, the Catering Hall series as Maria Dorico. I read 2 from this series, 4 Parties and a Funeral. And then I also read the Witless Protection Program, which means I am caught up. I just can't wait for the next one. The only thing I'll say about this series, so this features, is it Mia? I did not write down her name. I think it's Mia. And they own a catering hall in New York. And her family also has ties to the mob. So they're kind of on the straight and narrow now. And this catering hall is on the straight and narrow. It's really funny because there are points where they will say things like, oh, well, that would be a great way to smuggle. And the main character is always like, no, we are on the straight and narrow. That is not who we are anymore. That sort of thing. It's really funny. The reason I love the catering hall so much is because, again, each book is about a different event or something going on at the catering hall, a baby shower, whatever it is. So in like the fourth book? The fourth book, 4 Parties and a Funeral, which was my absolute favorite of the series. The premise is that there is going to be a reality show of like the mob. So it's like called The Dom and the Domettes or something like that. I cannot think of the name of the actual reality show, but that's kind of the gist of it. It was so funny, so good. I absolutely love it. I am officially caught up on the series. The only thing that I'll say about the series is in the Witless Protection Program, I thought that the main character was way too focused on the relationship between her and the love interest. And granted, the book kind of revolved around that in a little way within like the murder actually. But even before the murder happened, I just felt like it was a lot of focus on the love interest. And I don't know, it was a little too much for me. Next up is the Hamptons series. I read number 2, Death on Lily Pond Lane. This is by Carrie Doyle. And the main character in this is Antonia, and she buys an inn in the Hamptons, and she is ready to get started. And in the first book, stuff starts happening, sabotages and all this kind of stuff. And then she starts finding out the history and that numerous people that own the inn had problems of some sort. And she's like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten into? Did I buy a haunted place? Did I buy, she doesn't know what's going on. And I have really enjoyed the first 2 in this. I will definitely continue it. I have 2 more to go to be caught up. Number 16 is the Spice Isle Bakery series by Olivia Matthews. I read number 3, Coconut Drop Dead. I am officially caught up, and that is a little sad because the series is officially over. This is according to Olivia Matthews. She put that out on Facebook not too long ago. This series features Lindsay, and Lindsay's family and her open up a West Indies bakery in Little Caribbean, Brooklyn, New York. And I am really sad this series is over because I loved learning about that culture. There was a festival going on in the last book, and you learned a lot about their music and more food. I love that area of food, but I haven't had a lot of the baked goods. I've said this each time. So when they describe those things, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to find something. I'm going to have to, because it sounds absolutely delicious. Number 17 is the Bread Shop series by Winnie Archer. I've read 2 from this series this year. I read Crust No One, and then I just recently finished The Walking Bread. I have 5 more to go to be caught up. This series is by Winnie Archer. I'm not sure if I said that. So it features Ivy, and Ivy is a struggling photographer, and she's kind of in the first book, a little lost and she finds Yeast of Eden. And Yeast of Eden is this bread shop, and she starts taking classes there, and she becomes very close with the owner, and she's now working there part-time. And I am loving this series more and more with each book. I'm developing relationships with the characters. I can't wait to read more in this series. Number 18 is the Colorado Wine Series by Kate Lansing. I've read 2 from this series this year, which is A Pairing to Die For. And then I read Mold to Death. So this series features Parker, and Parker owns a winery in Colorado. And did I write it down? In Boulder, Colorado. I only have one more book to go in this series. I'm not sure if this series is over, but I only have one more to be caught up. I got to get back to this one really soon too. Both of those last 2, man. Okay, next up is number 19. It's the Jelly Shop Cozy Mystery Series by Donna Clancy. She used to go by Donna Wallow Clancy. That's what's the name on these books. So if you look up Donna Clancy and it doesn't pull up, try Donna Wallow Clancy. And if you look up Donna Wallow Clancy and it doesn't pull up, go the other way. Because from now, moving forward, she will be going by Donna Clancy. Okay, so I have not read any this year. I hope to get to it very soon. Here is book number 1. So this takes place in Whippoorwill Junction in Maine. I'm sorry, but Whippoorwill Junction is like the ultimate cozy town name. It might be my favorite ever as a town name. It's like Petticoat Junction. Sorry, that's going through my head now. Okay. I'm back. Takes place in Maine, and our main character opens up a jam and jelly shop. But she also is doing wedding planning, or is it wedding photography? Does it say in my synopsis? There was something also with weddings on the side. Jams and jellies. That is why I'm there. The town was so cozy. I cannot wait to get back to it. It was I only have 4 more to go, and it was definitely a favorite. I can't wait to read more. Next up, number 20 is the Papa Pacelli Pizzeria Cozy Mystery Series. Say that 5 times fast. Papa Pacelli Pizzeria. Okay. This is by Patty Benning. I read number 2, which is Bacon Cheddar Murder. So this features Eleonora, and she goes, after her grandfather passed away, she goes to help with his pizzeria and to be with her grandmother. And she doesn't really know them very well. I think it was just like a family thing that she was a child and didn't really have much say in, but she didn't get to really see this side of the family much. So she's kind of developing this relationship. And they're very short. They're very fun. I really enjoy them. They are all, I think, all on KU. Don't quote me on that. And since I've read number 2, I only have 46 more to go. Number 21 is the Love is Murder Cozy Mystery Series. This is by Mimi Granger. Book 1 is called Death of a Red Hot Rancher. I read it, loved it, and I only have 1 more to go, but I have not read any this year. So the book 1 that I read was from last year. So, I cannot remember the main character's name, but she has a bookshop, and the bookshop it's a romance bookshop. She is lucky with a romance books. She is unlucky in love. That is her slogan, not mine. And this bookshop that she owns, that's all centered around romance. It's in a house, and each room is like a different subgenre of romance. Like there's like the historical room, and it's decorated very Victorian like, and there's I can't remember what all, but I always remember the erotica room because she's like, there's like silk sheets, and it's got this big canopy bed and all that stuff and everything, and I just think that is a hoot. I loved number 1, and I can't wait to get to number 2. I really wish that there was more in that series. Next up, number 22 is the True Confection series by Sarah Fox. I'm currently reading book 2, which means I will be caught up with this series. It is a Christmas read. I'm still very much enjoying it. It is Baking Spirits Bright. This features Becca. And in this book, so it lives in Vermont, and it is Christmas time, and there is this baking competition, and you know what happens. It's a murder mystery. So Becca's trying to figure out what is going on. One of the reasons I love this is Vermont is a great place for cozy. I feel like I'm surprised that more cozy mysteries don't take place in Vermont. It feels very cozy to me. Maybe it's not just me. Okay. The other thing is that this particular place, it's called Larch Haven, is the Venice of North America. Yes, the streets are water gondolas. I don't think the whole town, but there are, and they have gondola races, and oh my gosh, it just sounds so fun and cozy. Oh my gosh. I read number 2 now, and I'm really enjoying it. And then I will be caught up. Number 23 is the Cheese Shop series by Karina Moss. Book 1 is called Cheddar Off Dead. I'm completely caught up in this series. I'm just waiting on the next book. I put it on my SAS list, and that way I could read it as soon as it came out, because I will be. So this features Willa. Willa owns a cheese shop that is French-inspired called Curds and Whey. And this takes place in California. And she is another one like Ellie Alexander that makes you so involved with every single side character. I feel like this is very quintessential cozy. It's a great place to start if you're new to cozies. I love everybody who works in her shop. I really like both of the men that we've kind of seen as love interests. I don't know what's going to happen, and I cannot wait to find out. Number 24 is the Pizza Lovers series. This is by Chris Cavender. Number 1 is called A Slice of Murder. I did not get to any more. I have 6 more to go in this series. I did not read any this year. The one that I read was from last year. So this features, what is her name? Eleanor. And it takes place in North Carolina, and her husband and her run a pizza shop, and her husband sadly passes away. And she's just kind of continuing, grinding and all that. And in the first book, she goes to deliver a pizza and instead finds a man dead. I really enjoyed the first one. This was a TBR recommendation from Amy Marie. If you don't know Amy Marie, fantastic. Go check her out. Go subscribe. She's absolutely fantastic. Oh my gosh. Go do that. That is the last of my SAS list. I have done fairly well. I'm very proud of myself. I have more to go, but I definitely have made progress. How have you done? How has your progress been? How are your challenges going? Anything else you want to talk about with cozies? Put it in the comments below. And let's see. Leave me your favorite food emoji. I don't know why, because we ended on pizza, and now I'm thinking about pizza. So what is your favorite food? Leave it as an emoji in the comments below. Give me a big thumbs up for this video, and until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye, everyone.